All right, welcome to Word Problems with Mrs. Burgess. Make sure that we are staying focused in this station and we are going to learn about some word problems. All right, so always need an objective. What will I learn this lesson? I will learn how to break word problem down into steps to find the correct answer. I know that some of you have done a lot of this already, all right, but some of these word problems can be tricky. All right, so if you have a moment, I would love you to pause and talk to your partner just for like 30 seconds about what you know already when it comes to solving word problems, okay? Okay, hopefully you talked to your partner about what there were, and hopefully you came up with some good things like using a label, breaking it down into steps, drawing a picture, okay? Lots of those things are important in word problems, okay? So, when we look at this first word problem on your paper, you're following along with me on problem set lesson 16, number 1, okay? Mr. Fry distributed $126 equally among his 4 children for their weekly allowance. Okay? Now, some keywords there are distributed, $126 equally among his 4 children. Okay? When I distribute something equally among a certain number of people, I am, you guessed it, dividing. Okay? So I am dividing. $126 equally among 4 children. Okay? So go ahead, pause my video and try that division problem. When you come back, I'll have the division problem done for you to check with your answer. All right. So now you have the division problem, 126 divided by 4. I got 31 5/10. Okay, and I did that because when I pulled my 6 down, 4 only went into 6 one time, so 4 times 1 was 4, and I had this 2 left over. Now, in a regular problem, we would say remainder 2, but not in decimals, so we pulled the decimal point out, right? Because that's where it is in all problems, at the end, behind the ones place. And move it on up to the answer up here in the quotient. And I put my 0 that's always there, but we don't really need it, right? Because that's just saying 0/10. And I get 31.5 as a quotient. So that, if we ask ourselves, make sure we reread the question, don't just move on once you find the answer to the division problem. It says, how much money did each child receive? How much money did they receive? They received $31.50 each. Okay, I could check my work by doing $31.50 times 4 because multiplication is the opposite of division. So if I took my answer, my quotient, times my divisor, I should get my dividend. So if I did 31.5 times 4, I should get 126. Okay, I'm now going to move on to the second question. John, the oldest child, paid his siblings to do his chores. If John pays his allowance equally to his brother and 2 sisters, how much money will each of his siblings receive in all? Okay, I have to see here that I'm doing 2 types of problems. First, John is going to pay his siblings to do his chores. He's going to pay them equally, okay, to do his chores. He's going to pay his allowance equally to his brother and 2 sisters. So that's 3 people total, 1 brother, 2 sisters, and he's going to pay his allowance, which was $31.50 from up here, right? He got $31.50, and he's going to divide that equally among his 1 brother, 2 sisters, so 3 kids total. So I'm going to take $31.50 and divide it by 3. Okay, you're going to do that now and pause the video while you do that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have your division done, and I did my division here when I divided $31.50 by 3. I got $10.50. Okay, but that is how much money, right? If I look back up here, it says John, the oldest child, paid his siblings to do his chores. If John pays his allowance equally to his brothers and 2 sisters, how much money will each of his siblings have received in all? Now, this is how much John is paying each sibling, okay? But each sibling also received $31.50 from Dad, right? So I need to add what they received from Dad to what they received from their older brother to figure out how much they received in all. So I'm going to take $10.50 plus $31.50 and get 0 and 2 and 4 and bring it on down on the decimal. And don't forget your label, $42. They will each receive $42. All right. Now I want you to look at the second question, number 2. I want you to try it on your own and then come back to me. So unpause when you think you have something down. It's okay if you don't know what it is. You can always come back and watch some of the video and then go back and do it yourself as well. Okay, so hit pause and try number 2. All right, hopefully you guys looked over number 2 and learned about these 3 kids, Ava, Olivia, and Lucas, right? So we read the whole sentence, the whole problem. Ava is 23 centimeters taller than Olivia, and Olivia is half the height of Lucas. If Lucas is 1.78 meters tall, how tall are Ava and Olivia? Express their heights in centimeters. Ooh, this is very important because we, right off the bat, right, they tell us, super important right from the beginning, to notice that our answer, okay, our label for our answer is supposed to be in centimeters, okay? So right from the beginning, I'm going to put down here centimeters and a line because that's how tall I'm supposed to express their heights in centimeters. So I need Ava's height in centimeters and I need Olivia's height in centimeters, right? So I would write that right off the bat. Okay, now I go back up and I see what we need to do with our problem. This problem is probably very good to use a picture because I've got all these people and you don't really know who's doing what. So it can get kind of confusing. So I'm going to draw a rectangle for Ava. This is how tall Ava is. Okay, Ava is 23 centimeters taller than Olivia. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but I know that 23 centimeters taller means Olivia is shorter, right? Ava is taller than Olivia, okay, by 23 centimeters. So I drew Olivia a little bit shorter and put a little thing here that said that she was that this distance between their heights is 23 centimeters, okay? And then it says Olivia is half the height of Lucas. Now, that means that I could have drawn Lucas, and I can still do that. Okay, if Olivia is that tall, I could draw Lucas that tall, right? That would be Lucas, because he's 2 of Olivia. Instead, I drew over here, I drew an Olivia and an Olivia. okay? Because that way you could see that 2 Olivias is the height of Lucas, because Lucas, or Olivia, is half the height. If she's half the height of Lucas, that means 2 Olivias equal a whole Lucas. Okay? Now, it tells us that Lucas is 1.78 meters. Okay? And then we want to know how much the other ones are. Now, meters, that's not centimeters. We're supposed to be finding this in centimeters. So right off the bat, we want to change 1.78, or 1 and 78 hundredths meters, to centimeters. And we can do this by moving our decimal place 2 places, because it's 10 to the power of 2, where we are multiplying by 10 to the power of 2 when we go from meters to centimeters. So 1, 2 gives us 178 centimeters. That's how tall Lucas is in centimeters. Now, we're going to find out all the other girls in centimeters. So off the bat, we can figure out that Olivia, since Olivia is 2 of Lucas, Lucas is 2 of Olivia, all right? I could cut Lucas in half, essentially, right? And come up with how tall Olivia is. So I'm going to take 178 centimeters, divide that by 2, and I'm going to get 89 centimeters is how tall Olivia is. So down here, I can write Olivia is 89 centimeters. And then I go back to my picture. If Olivia is 89, Ava is 23 centimeters taller than her. So all I did was 89 plus 23 equals 112 centimeters, and that's Ava's height. 112 centimeters. And then I am done. All right, thanks so much for watching my video. Hopefully you have these answers down. If you don't, feel free to go back over and check them out. Right? See you soon.